Hey peeps, I'm back and ready to make this black people breed. And so today is Sunday, March 13th at 12:42 in the p.m. Right afternoon. So without further ado, because I just made my other read same day, so let's get on into this read. Y'all ready? Y'all really ready? This is gonna be a little different because I'm doing two people at one in the same read, because they life is kind of, it's short, but they go hand in hand. So just stay tuned. Here we go. So it's gonna be about my story. It's gonna be about Tidye and Pickett and Louise Stokes. That was my grandmama named Louise. Sports history forgot about Tidye, Pickett, and Louise Stokes, two black Olympians who never got their shot. Thanks to the 1-2 punch of racism and sexism, these two women were shut out of the heroes treatment given to other athletes. When it say Tidye Pickett was born in Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Chicago. Hey, Chicago. Y'all should have knew it was coming. Chicago. Chicago. Hey. On November the 3rd, 1914. Wow. Her mother was Sarah Pickett, a factory clerk, and Louis Pickett, a foundry foreman. She grew up in Inglewood. I lived in Inglewood, in Chicago neighborhood. She took up running as a schoolgirl after competing in some local meets, and she caught the attention of long jumper John Brooks, who began to coach her. When Pickett was growing up in Inglewood, Inglewood was a booming neighborhood filled with department stores, cafeterias, and home of Southtown Theater. At the time, one of the largest theaters ever erected on Chicago's South Side. Y'all see, Inglewood today got a reputation, but back in the day, it was booming. The community had yet to experience the economic segregation wrought by the relining of their policies in a post-World War II era. Pickett lived across the street from Washington Park. And my grandmama used to live across the street from Washington Park, y'all. We used to actually, the family, we used to meet up on certain holidays, and all of us would get together and go to Washington Park and barbecue and play baseball. Yeah. Pickett lived across the street from Washington Park, a place that often held races for boys and girls. Races she won. Pickett was discovered by city officials who taught her how to run and jump, competing for the Chicago Park District track team. Eventually, she would attract the attention of John Brooks, a University of Chicago athlete and one of the best long jumpers in the country, who would go on to be a fellow Olympian. Okay? Seeing Pickett's potential at a Chicago Armory event, he asked her parents' permission to coach Pickett to the Olympics, which he did in 1932. Okay? And continued to do through 1936 games, where he finished 7th in the long jump. Okay, John Brooks. At the 1932 United States Olympic trials, Pickett competed in the 100-meter dash, winning her heat and placing 3rd in her semifinal. She qualified for the final, where she placed 6th. Pickett was named to the American Olympic team as part of the 8-woman 4x100 meter relay pool. She and Louise Stokes, who was also part of the relay pool, were the first African American women to be selected for the Olympic Games. I heard that right. Who was the first? Louise Stokes and Tidye Pickett. That's how I pronounce her name, Tidye Pickett. They were the first African Americans women to be selected for the Olympic Games, but both of them were left out of the final 4 women relay lineup that ran at the Olympics. Pickett and Stokes suffered racial discrimination during their Olympic trip. Whether racism also played a role in their omission from the Olympic relay is disputed and unclear. Pickett continued her running career in 1934. She ran an opening leg on the Chicago Park District team and set an unofficial world record of 48.6 in the 4x110-yard relay. At the 1936 United States Olympic trial, she competed in the 80-meter hurdles, placing 2nd and qualifying for the Olympics in Berlin. 1936. At the Olympics, Pickett survived the heats, but went out in the semifinals, falling at the 2nd hurdle and injuring herself. She was the first African American woman as well as the first Illinois State University athlete to compete in the Olympic Games. Okay, you go, Pickett. Pickett later became a school teacher, serving as principal at an elementary school in East Chicago Heights until her retirement in 1980. Oh, she lived a long time. When she retired, the school was renamed after her. She died in Chicago Heights, Illinois on November 17, 1986. That's when I had my daughter. My daughter was born. She was 72 years old. Wow. And that one was about Tidye and Pickett. So now we getting ready to learn about Louise. So here we go. Now this part is about Louise May Stokes Frazier. She was born October the 27th, 1913 through March 25th, 1978. Okay, the other one was born 1914. She was born 1913. Was an American track and field athlete. The oldest of 6 children. Louise, the oldest of 6. Okay, Louise May Stokes was born in Malden, Massachusetts on October the 27th, 1913 to William, a gardener, and Mary Wesley Stokes, a domestic. She started running while a student at BB Junior High, where she was a center for the basketball team. In 1930, one of her basketball teammates, Catherine Robley, impressed by her speed, suggested Stokes to join her in the Ontario Track Club, whose sponsor, Malden Park Commissioner William H. Quain, knew of Stokes' reputation. Soon Stokes started winning the sprints and jumping events. While a junior in Malden High School in 1931, Stokes won the James Michael Curley Cup for the best women's performance at the Mayor's Day track meet, including a New England record 12.6 seconds in the 100-meter dash. In December of that year, she tied the world record for women's standing broad jump at 8 feet 5 3/4 inches. At the 1932 United States Olympic trials, competed in 100 meter, where she placed 4th, earning her a spot in the 4x100 meter relay pool, and that's where Tidye was too. Pickett, making her and Tidye Pickett the first African American women to be selected for the Olympics. Although Coach George Verland left them out at the final relay lineup, in Los Angeles, Stokes was given a compact by film star Janet Gaynor. Stokes continued running, and at the 1936 United States Olympic trial, she again competed in the 100 meters, winning both her heat and her semifinal. She was leading the final until a costly error pushed her back to fifth. Still, it was good enough for her to become a part of the 4x100 meter relay pool. Stokes' hometown of Malden raised $680 in order that she may compete in Berlin. Although she did not compete at the Olympics, she was still given a hero's welcome in Malden. In 2016, the 1936 Olympic journey of the 18 Black American athletes, including interviews with Stokes' family, was documented in the film Olympic Pride, American Prejudice. Stokes was considered to compete at the 1940 Olympics before its cancellation due to World War II. In 1941, she founded the Colored Women's Bowling League, and for the next 3 decades won many awards. In 1944, she married Caribbean cricketer Wilfred Frazier and had a son, Wilfred Jr., as well as a stepdaughter, Shirley. From 1957 to 1975, she worked as a clerk for the Massachusetts Department of Corporation and Taxation. She died on March 25, 1978, at 64 years old. Malden, Massachusetts have honored her with a field house and her name in Roosevelt Park and a statue in the Malden High Courtyard. Wow, I think that's it, y'all. Okay. Including Pickett and Stokes in track and field events at the Olympics was controversial at the time, not just because of their race, but also because of their gender. The first time women were even allowed to compete in these events at the Olympics was in Amsterdam in 1928. Wow. They had previously only competed in less strenuous activities, including golf, tennis, or archery. A lot of people thought it was damaging to women's internal organs, says Damian Thomas, the curator of sports at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. They believe it would hinder their ability to be mothers. There were a lot of ideas of women's roles in society and how we didn't want sports to occupy their primary function. For Pickett and Stokes, the trials led to both women making the Olympic team as part of the 4x100 relay pool. The actual racers will be selected from this group at the games themselves. Stokes finished 4th in the 100 meter and Pickett finished 6th, which placed Stokes on the team and Pickett as an alternative. In the lead up to the 1932 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, Pickett and Stokes were subjected to various abuses. They were kids, 17 and 18, respectively. In Denver, on a train en route to Los Angeles, they were given a separate room near a service area and ate their dinner in their rooms rather than the banquet hall with the rest of the delegation. As the train continued west toward California, the two women were sleeping in a bunking compartment they shared. Stokes on the top bunk, Pickett on the bottom. One of the most well-known women in sport, Mildred Babe Dickerson, tossed a pitcher of ice water on the sleeping teammates. According to Thomas, Dickerson was opposed to having African American athletes on the team, hence the slight. Pickett confronted Dickerson. The two exchanged words, but no one ever apologized. The man said, there it is. The man said, y'all, in the book A to Z, American Women in Sports, author Paula Elderson reported that once in Los Angeles, Stokes and Pickett practiced with their team during the day, but they were stranded each night in their dorms as the other runners gathered to eat in the whites-only dining room. Man said, the harshest rebuke came when the duo were replaced in a 4x100 meter relay by two white athletes, both of whom performed slower than Stokes and Pickett at the trials. The duo watched from the grandstand as the all-white relay team captured the gold. Wow. Robbing them of their shot of glory. There was likely resentment, but as black women, they had no recourse or outlet to voice their anger. Wow. Pickett went to her grave believing that prejudice, not slowness, kept her out of competition, according to her Chicago Tribune obituary. Excuse me, y'all. Lily Whiteism wrote, Russ Cowan in the Chicago Defender at that time, a thing more pronounced than anything else around here on the eve of the Olympic Games, threatened to oust Tidye, Pickett, and Louise Stokes from participation and put in their stead two girls who did not qualify. Quote, I felt bad, but I tried not to show it, Stokes would say later. I kept it out of my mind. The man said she conquered her thoughts. That's powerful. This snub and their subsequent omission from the medal books are among the many reasons why Pickett and Stokes are largely forgotten in the story of African American sports groundbreakers. A factor that may keep Pickett and Stokes from the collective Olympic memory, according to Thomas, is that they didn't have the pedigree of being a product of the likes of Tuskegee University or Tennessee State University, two predominant African American track programs. Then there's also the fact that they didn't win any medals, though that clearly was through no fault of their own. Other reasons include an imbalance in scholarship of the lives of black female athletes and convoluted Cold War gamemanship in which officials' records were skewed and women's feet de-emphasized to prove America's athlete prowess over the Soviet Union. Whether Pickett and Stokes had personal reservations about returning to the Olympics in 1936, this time in Berlin, is unknown, but both made the transatlantic journey. Stokes' hometown raised $680 to send her there. Stokes had a poor Olympic trials in 1936, but was invited to join a pool of athletes anyway, again as a candidate to run on the 400-meter relay team. When she boarded the boat to Berlin, according to the Defender, there was no happier athlete on the boat. Once in Berlin, her experience was mostly the same as she sat in the stands and watched her fellow Americans, but with one exception. This time, her teammate, Tidye Pickett, would be on the track. Well. Pickett had recently run the opening leg of a Chicago Park District 400-meter relay team, setting an unofficial world record in 48.6 seconds. At the trials, Pickett finished second in the 80-meter hurdles, which gave her an automatic qualification for the event in Berlin. Then 21 years old, Pickett became the first African American woman to compete in the Olympic Games, reaching the semifinals of the 80-meter hurdles. In that race, she hit the second hurdle and broke her foot and didn't finish the race. Oh, that's sad. Even if Stokes and Pickett were open to compete in another Olympics, the cancellation of the 1940 and 1944 games due to World War II made such an endeavor impossible. It wouldn't be until 1948 Olympics when Alice Coachman won gold in the high jump that an African American woman would take home a medal. 1948. Pickett and Stokes would return to their lives in Illinois and Massachusetts, and both would return to the segregated life from which they temporarily departed. This was good. Thomas ascribes this, however, less to race than to gender. Quote, the Olympics at the time were amateur sports, he said. There was no expectation they parlay their success into opportunities at home. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Almost done. So I don't know where it cut off, but I'm going to restart right here. Okay. Despite a second straight Olympics without participation, Stokes returned to her hometown in Malden's to a Heroes Parade. She remained active and started the Color Women's Bowling League, winning many titles, and she remained involved in local athletes until she died in 1978. She was honored by the Massachusetts Hall of Black Achievement and has a statue in the Malden High School courtyard. Pickett went on to serve as principal at East Chicago Heights Elementary School for 23 years. When she retired in 1980, the school was renamed in her honor. The school closed its doors for good in 2006 due to poor performance. While Pickett and Stokes may be largely unknown to the casual Olympic fan, they proved that simple forced inclusion, by virtue of their undeniable speed, is enough to initiate the swinging pendulum of progress. Wow, y'all. I got her done. Ooh, I got her done. Ooh, I got her done. Wow, I liked it that. I liked it that. That was good. This was good. About two black, and they was young. What they say, 17, 18? '17 to 18. We remember you. Tidye Ann Pickett, and Louise Stokes. Your story is being read. I got as much information that I could, but I got enough. And so, I saw Tidye, Louise. Y'all did that. So y'all got her done, and I hope y'all enjoyed this black people read. So my goal is to do twice a month and everything, and yeah, I really liked that story. And the first African American women Olympics. All right. From Chicago, Illinois. Okay. So, on that note, I hope everybody have a blessed day, a safe day, productive day, get her done on whatever level, and be safe. You know, be safe out here in these streets. And I'll see you when I say, well, okay, I'm probably put this up Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know, y'all. But I'll see y'all back at the table on Friday. And on that note, I'm out. Peace, love, share some, and what? I holla. Hey, y'all. Y'all know I'm already tired. So, have mercy and have grace on your girl. I be getting done, though. Okay?
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.